Well, South Africa has been under lockdown for 45 days now. This meant that 45 days of no income, a major cause of stress that will be. For others, the uncertainty of not knowing and a general lack of control is causing much anxiety. It's been an emotionally draining time for all of us. Let's discuss this now with the educational psychologist Ken Resnik, I should say, and he joins us via Skype from Linden. Mr. Resnik, thank you very much for your time. Firstly, the psychological impact of this lockdown. What's your assessment thus far?
I think it's tremendous. I think there's nothing positive about it. I think the anxiety that it must be causing in marriages, in relationships with children, no income, if it's an overcrowded situation, it must be almost unbearable at the moment, and the stress levels must be sky high. And I think it's taking its toll, I think, ripping a lot of marriages apart, to be quite honest.
Are there some things that can be done for people to cope better with being confined in their homes?
It's very difficult to say. It depends on their relationship. You know, if they've got a good relationship and they can work together, fine. If the relationship is under stress, if the children are just all over the show, acting out and so on, there's not much they can do at this stage. Plus the added problem of income and boredom, and put that all in a pot. There's very little that they can actually do. Because how do they take charge of their children? How do they improve their relationship with some sort of help? They could try and get some help, but they're in the boiling pot at the moment. So it can't be easy. And if it's very overcrowded, it must be almost impossible.
Yeah. Interesting that you raise the issue around children. The ANC meeting, I think it was Friday last week, and some of what they spoke about is the possible impact of children who are in poor households, who, for them, they might possibly not even return to school as a result of this lockdown. What's your assessment of how this should be managed?
Well, again, unfortunately, the damage gets done with children early on. And from my experience, there's a huge amount of children right across the board that are diagnosed with all sorts of problems, learning issues, a lot of medication, creating chaos at home, no boundaries, expecting to be entertained, whining, very, very difficult now. And the schools haven't given the parents, I don't think, many tips regarding how to set out a day, regarding how many periods they need to teach. For instance, very young children can't concentrate for more than 20 minutes. 40 minutes is the maximum. It needs to be constructive. Those sort of tips don't seem to have been handed out. Added to that, the fact that if you've got a child, in other words, where there's chaos and shouting in a home, the children are actually in control. So there's no respect, there's very few boundaries, more than likely watching far too much TV, not doing as much work as they should be doing, so that when they're going to go back to school, I think the schools are going to be faced with a big problem regarding how much work have children been doing and what sort of lag is there. There are all these issues that are going to pop up.
Just as a final question to you, I mean, I've been observing in the last couple of days since we entered stage 4 lockdown. I have 2 of my own, and my wife and I will go out during the periods that we are allowed to exercise, and we'll walk around the block. Many more people or many more parents are doing that, whether the children will be cycling next to them. Is that at least a way to cope better with this, that children just should be outdoors perhaps more often, especially during the day?
No question. They need to be doing some sort of exercise. If they just sit in front of their TV, it's an added problem, health-wise, and for all sorts of reasons. So the more they can sort of use the energy up and get out, absolutely.
Ken Resnik, thank you very much for your time, educational psychologist.